Hey everyone. First of all, if you just cleared your CA exams, a huge, massive congratulations to you. Seriously, all that hard work, all those late nights, you did it. But now, the real adventure begins. Your very first corporate job. You're officially trading in those heavy textbooks for the boardroom, and this is going to be your survival guide.
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. After talking to over 100 brand new CAs, we noticed something really surprising. It was almost never about a lack of knowledge. You guys know your stuff. The real problem? It's the gap between knowing something in theory and actually being able to execute it in the real world. That's the challenge we're going to unpack right now.
So, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about going from theory to practice. Then, we'll cover the shift from just being smart to being truly strategic. And finally, we'll lay out a game plan for your crucial first 2 years. Let's dive in.
All right, Section 1. From theory to practice. This is all about what happens when your perfect, clean, textbook knowledge smacks right into the messy reality of a real job.
So, the very first mistake is a tricky one. It's that I know everything mindset. And look, it's understandable. Clearing your CA exams gives you this incredible shot of confidence. But sometimes that same confidence can create a massive blind spot, making you think you're ready for any practical task they throw at you.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? We actually saw this happen. A new CA who could recite every single Indian accounting standard, chapter and verse, but when they sat down in front of the company's actual software, that clunky ERP system, they couldn't even post a basic journal entry. The theory was a 10 out of 10, but the practical application was a 0.
And that brings us to this key idea: corporate readiness. What does it actually mean? Well, it's not just about what's in your head. It's about your ability to take that knowledge and actually use it with the real-world tools, the messy processes, and the specific systems that your company relies on day in and day out.
Okay, let's talk about the next common mistake. And honestly, this one is huge. It's all about communication. You can be an absolute genius with numbers, but if you can't explain your findings to a manager from, say, the sales department in simple terms, your brilliant work might just fall flat.
So here's a scene that plays out all the time. A manager, who is probably not a finance expert, asks a really simple, direct question. Hey, why are our costs up? And what do they get back? A lecture straight out of a costing textbook. Let's look at what that actually sounds like.
Just look at the difference here. The textbook answer on the left is technically correct, sure, but it's full of jargon. It doesn't help the manager make a decision. Now look at the business explanation. We paid more for raw materials, and we had to use more of them. Boom! Simple, direct, everybody in the room understands exactly what happened. The lesson? You have to learn to speak the language of business, not just accounting.
This leads us right into mistake number 3, which is a big one: a lack of practical exposure. See, your job is not just about crunching numbers and knowing the standards. It's about navigating real-world processes and, dealing with actual human beings.
I mean, think about an auditor. They might know all the standards on auditing by heart, but that knowledge doesn't tell you how to politely chase a busy client for data, or how to follow up without being annoying, or even just the simple, practical steps of how to physically verify a document. Those are the skills you only learn by doing.
So, to sum up this whole first section, just remember this simple equation. Your real job is a mix of 3 things. Your technical knowledge, yes, but also handling people and managing messy, real-world data. You need all 3 to succeed.
All right, let's shift gears. Welcome to Section 2, from smart to strategic. This part isn't so much about what you know, it's about your mindset. It's about leveling up from just being intelligent to actually showing initiative and thinking strategically.
And the fourth big mistake is being passive. You know the drill. You get a task, you hit a wall, and then you just stop. You wait for your manager to ask for an update, you wait for someone to tell you what to do next, instead of taking ownership and trying to solve it yourself.
This timeline just paints the perfect, painful picture. You get a task at 10 a.m., by lunchtime, you're stuck. But instead of saying anything, the entire afternoon just disappears. So 5 p.m., when your manager checks in, all they see is a big, fat 0 progress. And trust me, that looks way worse than just admitting you needed help at 1 p.m.
And that brings us to a super important lesson. Initiative is almost always more valuable than raw intelligence. Look, they already know you're smart. That's why they hired you. What they really want is someone who is a proactive problem solver. That's what makes you indispensable.
All right, mistake number 5. This is a big one. It's thinking that your work will just speak for itself. So many brilliant, technically skilled people make this mistake.
They put their heads down, do perfect work, and assume they'll get noticed. But that's just not how the world works.
And this is the sad but very real outcome. You can be the strongest technical person on the team, but if you're a ghost in meetings, if you never proactively update your seniors on your progress, you get a label. And that label is often low potential, regardless of how great your spreadsheets are.
The lesson here is so critical. Visibility matters. Your work doesn't have a voice. You have to be its voice. That means speaking up, sharing what you found, giving updates, and making sure people actually see the incredible value you're bringing.
And the last mistake in this section, oh, it's a tempting one. It's chasing that slightly higher salary right at the beginning, even if it means sacrificing a massive opportunity for learning and growth.
Just take a look at this chart. Role B? Yeah, it offers a little more money right now. It's tempting, right? But look at the long-term career path. Now compare that to Role A. It starts a little lower, but the learning opportunity is huge. And over time, its value just skyrockets, leaving Role B in the dust. Your first job is an investment in your skills, not just a paycheck.
And all of this really boils down to one powerful idea. You have to understand that the foundation you build, the skills you learn, and the habits you form in these first 2 years, they are literally going to set the entire trajectory for the next 20 years of your career.
So what's the action plan? It's these 4 simple steps. Number 1, hunt down practical exposure. Get your hands dirty. 2, obsess over mastering simple, clear business communication. 3, start building your confidence by speaking up. And 4, always take ownership and show some initiative.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Which of these mistakes hit closest to home for you? Maybe you've seen a coworker do it, or maybe you even see a little bit of it in yourself. Just thinking about it is the first step to making sure you build an absolutely incredible career. Thanks for tuning in.